Hi, so I wanted to show you some basic sewing techniques so that you would have access to these things that you need to know anytime you would like. They'll be posted at our G Suite classroom. So the first thing you need to know is how to thread a needle. So this is your pin cushion. Everyone, in their sewing basket has a little pin cushion and a needle. And we try to always store the needle in the pin cushion so we don't accidentally get poked. And then here you will get little bits of thread, our special little craft thread. And so you want to take some off, and then you have to thread the needle. Yeah. And this is round thread, and it's going through a rather small little hole there. So you really have to flatten it with your teeth. You just do. Okay. And then you have to stick it through the little tiny hole there. Yeah, and then it goes through. And don't be disappointed if you find that difficult, because it is a little difficult. And then this is the way that you tie a knot, okay? You put the thread around your index finger, and you have your thumb right there. See how it crosses? And then you just twist it like that, and then you pull on it like that, and voila, you got a nice little knot there at the end of your thread. Okay, so here is the first project that your children do, and many of your children have already done this. It's a little necklace, right? It's gonna go around our neck, and we make it big enough so that it goes around an adult's neck. And so it comes with a little barrel clasp. So I will set that part up for you. So all your child has to do is do the circle bead thing. So here we have, we ended with a circle. So Portia, can you get the needle through that little tiny hole? There's a little hole there. Can you find it? You can use your other hand. There you go. Yeah, one hand to hold the needle. No, you can hold the bead. Yeah, there you go. And you can find the little hole and just thread it through there. Did you get it? Almost. Okay, there it is. And then you grab that needle and pull it down. Pull this all the way down. Yeah, there you go. And then the next thing, so you can see the pattern is bead and what we call circle. And bead and circle. So don't worry, I'll supply you with the circles and the beads. So the next thing is to use our pin cushion, and we're going to poke the needle right into the middle of the circle, and we'll poke it down when we pull it up. Wow, the needle's gone through. You hold the needle. Hold the needle. This is the needle. You may hold it. Yeah, and then use your other hand and pull this down. Pull it all the way down. Pull, pull, pull. Ooh, here, if you, no, here, go ahead. Keep pulling. If your child has trouble with it, then you hold the needle and they pull the circle. So for older children, they're able to do that quite well. And so look, here's another bead. You can put that on, right? There you go. You take the needle, yeah, you find a little hole, stick it right through. Very good. Yeah, and then thread it down. Yeah, good. And now here's the circle, right? You want to try that again? How about you try poke it through? Yeah, okay. And you want to hold the pin cushion with your other hand. Yeah, so the pin cushion doesn't go anywhere. Yep, poke it through, right? Pull it up, very good. And now see if you can thread that thing over the needle and all the way down. That's it, yes. Go ahead. Oops. Well, here, go ahead.
It's
all right. Yeah, if you have sweaty hands, it doesn't go well either. There we go. Okay. All right, so that is the technique that we can use with the necklace. Okay, and a lot of the children right now are working on pouches. This isn't anyone's pouch who's here at the present. So here we have some stitching going on, and this is the blanket stitch. So this is the needle and thread that I threaded previously, and I'm going to pick up where the stitching ended here. I'm going to put the needle and thread in between the two layers of felt, yeah? And then this is an adult part, the part I'm doing right now, which is getting it going. And then I'm going to, see there's a loop there? You stick your needle through the loop and then you close the stitch. And that's how the blanket stitch works. That's how you get this nice pattern going over the edge of your work. So, okay, Portia, here you are. This is your turn now. So, in order to make the stitches fairly even and help the child, I'm going to set the stitch for Portia, and then she's going to complete it. So you put the pointy end of your needle there right next to the last stitch and move it over right about the same amount as the previous stitch and push down. Now you're going to do pretty much what you did before as far as pulling the pin cushion away and pulling this through. Yeah? We're going to flip it over. Go ahead. We'll put that on the ground or on the table and pull, pull, pull. I kind of did that there. Okay, good. And now, whoops, when there's a loop like that, you make sure the loop is open, and then you put your needle and thread through, and ta-da, you've made a stitch. Okay. So again, as children get older, they can do a little more of this themselves. So again, I'm going to set the stitch. I'm going to put the pointy end of my needle right next to the previous stitch and push straight down. And now you are going to pull the pin cushion away, pull it away, and look, there's the needle. Let's see if we can pull it through.
Oh my God, I have sweaty hands right now.
Okay, well, you know, a good thing to do here is you hold this part down with this hand. Hold, yeah, the felt down, and now pull with the needle. See if you can do that. Can you do it? Whoop, oh, I pulled it. Okay, go ahead. There you go. Whoop. Oh dear. And so if that happens, we close the stitch before we went through the loop. But that's okay because you can just open it up like that. Okay, now pull it through. And ta-da! There we've got our stitch. Right, so that's how that works. And now just for fun, I'm going to show you what you need to do if you want to end your stitches. So when the thread is diminished, so when it's right about down to maybe about this long, you have to make sure that you have enough thread when you see that you're running out of thread and you're going to have to refresh, that you have enough thread left over to go ahead and make a knot. If you let it get really small, like about this big, you're going to have a really hard time making a knot. So the way that you would end stitches is you go ahead and make another stitch just like that on top of the other one. And you might even do two if you want to be really good about it. So instead of moving and this part again is an adult part, the starting and stopping of the thread, that's what the adult does. And we close it. Oh, and then we get a musical phone. That's okay. And then we cut that thread like that, and there you are. And so if we had run out of thread, or if it was time to change color, because oftentimes the children will do a different color on the top of their pouch than they did on the bottom, then that's how you would stop it. And then I just made a little knot quickly, and this is how you would get started again. You go in between the two layers of stuff there and go around. And of course here you've only got one layer of felt, but that's okay. Just do the best you can to be discreet with your knot. That's so important. Okay, so, and then you're good to go again. Yeah?
I need a drink of water.
You should get a drink of water, sweetheart. Okay. So this is the way that you would replenish your thread if you're sewing a necklace. So my thread's getting a little short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a circle on. When you put more thread on your necklace, you have to end with a circle. So I've got a circle on, and then I've got my new thread right here. And what I'm going to do is tie a square knot. So you go over, oops, and then go over and around again and tie that down really tight. And it really doesn't hurt to do it twice. Okay, I think I've still got my needle involved here. Whoop. There we go, over, and then back around this way. Oops. So a square knot. And then, yeah, tighten it down really good. So this is your new thread right here. And this is your old thread right here. So I'm going to trim off the old thread, and actually this little thing too here. Oops, my hand's in the way, isn't it? So there, trim the threads, the excess thread, and then just thread your needle again. And you're good to go. So that's how we do that. Stop. Okay, just to review the blanket stitch one more time. The way you measure the stitch is you put the point of the needle right next to the end of the last stitch. You move it over the same distance as the other stitch. You push down, you separate the needle and the pin cushion, pull the needle up. There's a little loop here, you want to go right through the loop and then close your stitch. Now it's important to remember to go through the loop when it's open, not if it's twisted. If it's twisted, you have to straighten that out first. So over, down, pull it up, and if the loop were twisted like that, we would want to make sure it wasn't twisted, that it's nice and open, and you go right through. And you might notice I'm running out of thread here, so now is a good time to make a knot. So you go over the last stitch you made. Ooh, I just barely have room to do this. And then you have secured your thread and you can cut it and rethread and continue.